Let me ask, have you ever had this happen? Oh no, my battery's dead. That's okay. I'll just plug it in and let it charge as I drive. So that's today's video, is to see how much does your truck actually charge up your RV battery while you're driving, because a lot of times people don't even know, and depending on the amount of time that you drive will determine how much charge you actually get. But there's also loads on your battery as soon as that RV turns on, so how much are you actually getting as far as a charge into the battery? Okay, so what we're going to do is use this harness, plug it into the truck, then charge the battery to get some baseline numbers before we hook it up to the RV. Now, if you guys haven't seen this battery, this is LiTime's new Smart Mini battery. It's a 200 amp hour, and it's literally the same size as a 100 amp hour, which is totally cool. They did send this out to me so I could do some testing on it, and I told them I don't really do battery reviews, but if they wanted to send me a battery that I could at least recommend to people and something that I have tested and verified, well, then this is one of the ones. I do like LiTime products. I've actually recommended them for quite a while now, mainly because they have stuck around. They haven't, changed their name, gone to another, business, or just disappeared. They've actually been around a long time. They have several different batteries you can choose from: 12 volt, 24 volt, 48 volt. There's a lot of different batteries on their website. So if you're looking for something that suits your need, then they probably have it. And since this one has the Bluetooth feature, this is what's going to make our testing a little bit more helpful. Now, when only using a single 12 volt battery, I like having this smart app, the data and functions like that. If I was building like a battery bank system, I would more likely use the dummy batteries and just use shunts and kind of go more old school. But if I'm only using a single or maybe two of these that I put in parallel, then having the app is actually pretty nice, and I don't mind those features as far as, when it comes to smart batteries, or if you go with the more kind of traditional dumb batteries that don't have the Bluetooth and stuff. Then again, that's where I would use those in more of a battery bank that's going to be pretty big, like 6 batteries, 8 batteries and more. I would go with the cheaper versions. Now, as we take a look at this battery, it's 50% charged, and it's going to show us a bunch of information on the app. And we are going to do some other testing to get us a little bit more finer information later, but right now you can see current and power, nothing is going on. So what we'll do is we'll get this battery hooked up, fire up the truck, let it idle just to kind of see what idle does, then go for a drive and see what it looks like as far as how much charge are we getting at cruise speeds. And one more thing to note too is that how much charge you get into this battery could also be determined on the type of vehicle you have. So this is a newer truck, but I haven't done any add-ons. It's still got the same alternator in it as stock, so this should give you a pretty good idea. Okay, so we're going to get our harness hooked up, and this is actually going to be our load wire, or our positive. This one is going to be our negative, and LiTime even gives you this little wrench, which at first I was kind of like, but now that I've actually used it for, a couple times, I was like, this is actually kind of nice. Okay, so everything hooked up, and now if we take a look at the app, it says -4 amps roughly, or -60 watts. That's because it's actually discharging. It is taking power from this battery, and it is running it all the way up to the 2 batteries inside my truck and charging those. So that's interesting. So that means if this is hooked up to the RV, it could do the same thing and discharge and go back the other way. So just so you know. Okay, let's start the truck and see what idle looks like, and then we'll drive it and see what that looks like. Okay, now the battery has gone to standby, and it's flipped the other way. Now it says charging. And so here we go. Now this is probably going to boost up, and then I assume go back down. So we'll see what it does here. But so far, look at that, 17.6 amps and 232 watts. That's pretty good. So now what we got to do is go for a drive and see how much this changes, or if it's going to stay like this most of the time. So let's get it loaded up and see what it looks like. Okay, as we just drive down the street, we're only doing about 20 miles an hour, 25, and it looks like about 125 watts is going in at the moment. So not bad, more than I expected at least. But we do need to drive around just to see what is it going to do. Is it going to maintain that charge? Is it going to go up a little bit more? Is it going to go back down? Because it was higher earlier, and as we speed up, looks like we've got about almost 150 watts. So we're going to get on the freeway at cruise speed just to kind of see what it looks like when you're actually towing your RV and how much it charges more at those cruise speeds versus just kind of stop and go stuff. Okay, as we drive down the freeway, this is more the cruising speeds I normally drive, 62 to 64 depending on traffic with the RV, so I figured this is what we will test at. And right now, as you can see on the app, it still says we're doing pretty good, 186 watts roughly. This is where it's been kind of stable, is around the 14 amps, at least on this app that we're seeing. But I did notice when I was, getting up to the freeway, and then of course I would get to a stoplight, I did see a lot of fluctuations all the way down to about, 5 or 6 amps, and also around maybe 50, 60 watts, 70 watts depending. But now that I've been on the freeway for a good 10 minutes, this is pretty much where it seems to be pretty stable depending on, maybe what's going on as far as systems running in the truck and more. But 13 to 14 amps seems to be about our baseline at cruise speed, so I think we will kind of stay with that. Okay, so just got back about 10 minutes ago, and I left the truck idling just to kind of give you an idea. But if we take a look, getting about 75 to 80 watts now, so quite a bit different from when it was first idling. Now let's get this installed in the RV and get the RV hooked up and see what changes. Okay, so now we have the battery installed. What we need to do is see what kind of loads are already on the RV just sitting here at idle, because once you supply main power to your RV, there is typically always some ghost loads or loads you may not even know about. So let's go see what we have. Okay, so as we look for power items, this is going to be one of them. This is going to be the propane, kind of, your carbon monoxide detector. So these draw just a couple watts. And if we come over here, at least for my trailer, I also have this Jayco system. When this is powered on, this is also pulling a few watts. So right now, if we take a look at the phone, now I'm just going to put this up on the screen for you so you can see it, but right now I'm not showing any loads at all. And the refrigerator is running on propane right now, but when those are doing the absorption type fridges, it's running on propane instead of electric, this is only using a few watts. I mean, it's probably 2 or 3 watts right now. It's very minimal when they're on propane, but this little radio down here also likes to use a few watts when it's just sitting here on standby. It's not on, it's just a standby. So these are slow drains that you constantly get in RVs that you may not know about. But this one I can press and hold that red button and it'll turn it off. But as you can see right now, there's no load at all. But one thing I did find out is that after looking at the manual, and if you look inside the app here, you can see that when you click on the information button, it says that it will not pick up any loads that are under or around 1.5 amps or less. So let's go ahead and add a load real quick, like this fan, just to kind of get some measurements of what's going on. I'm going to turn this on 10% just to kind of see what happens. And this way, when we start charging the battery, we have an idea of where 0 is. Now see, even with the fan on, I am still not seeing any power being drawn from the battery. We'll click it up one more time. So this is going to be 20%. And there we go. Now we see some power come up on the app, but it goes away again. So kind of interesting. So what we're going to do is something a little bit different here real quick, because I kind of want to see what's going on with the app and how accurate it is, because this is going to give us a better idea of when we are charging the battery, how many watts are being consumed by, say, those ghost loads, by basically little things like, the monitor that you got to power up, and also that there, because those you can't shut off, and when you're towing your vehicle, they're always drawing just a few watts. So let's see what happens. We're going to do something different. Okay, so we're going to add in this shunt real quick, because this is way more accurate than the BMS that's on this battery. And I get it, most of the BMSs in these batteries, they're not going to see those real low loads like this shunt will. So we'll add this, that way we can get a better idea of how much watts are being pulled from the RV as it just sits here before we start charging. Okay, so shunt is now installed, and I already did a 0-point calibration on it. I didn't reset all the parameters for this battery, as we're really just looking for the draw. So right now, if we take a look at the app, sorry, it's a little bit glary right here, but as you can see, as we take a look here, there is no current being drawn out of it at the moment. All right, so now we'll turn on the RV, and then we can check for any type of ghost loads or any type of loads that were being put on the battery that we couldn't see, and then this will help us get a more accurate charging test once we go for a drive. Okay, back in we go. Now, if you take a look at the Victron app on the left, you can see that we do have 2 amps that are being consumed, which, again, we have a little bit of current that is being drawn from that. We do have a little bit of current that's being drawn from that. And we have a little bit of current being drawn from the refrigerator because it is still on, running on propane. And then also that radio back there. So look at that. About 25 watts that we didn't even know that was being consumed as the trailer just sits here and does nothing. Well, I guess the refrigerator is on, but again, the minimal draw on that. But let's just see what happens when we turn this off. There we go. So now it's on full off. Well, that only looks like it dropped it down, oh, just a few watts. Anyway, now that we have some baselines, we can kind of see how much power is being used by this thing. Let's just do the fan real quick one more time. There's 10% just to kind of give us an idea. So 10% on this guy is about just a few watts. We'll do a few more. Let's go to 50% just to kind of get an idea. There's up to 32 watts, 2.5 amps roughly. And let's just see how much this thing pulls at 100%. And here we are at 100%. About 42 watts total being pulled out of this thing, so this only uses about 25 watts. That's pretty good for that fan, which I like this fan. This was recommended from the RV Arizona guy. Okay, so now that we know that the RV is using about 20 to 23 watts, just sitting here doing nothing, we can get a better and more accurate amount of power that goes to the battery. Now, I want you to think about something real quick. Remember, I have a propane fridge, so the amount of power it's consuming is minimal. Now, what if you have a DC refrigerator? That could change the numbers that you're going to see here in a minute when we go for a drive. Because DC refrigerators can use anywhere from a kilowatt every 24 hours. So you're looking at maybe 20 to 30 as they're just on low, maybe 50 as they kind of maintain the temperature inside the refrigerator. Also depending on the temperatures, or if you just shoved a whole bunch of food in there and it's still cooling off, it could be using 100 watts every hour. So keep that in mind on the type of systems or setup that you have. Okay, so I have been driving for a little while now, and I've been keeping my speeds between 62 and about 64 miles an hour. And it seems that our charging current has now pretty much leveled off between about, well, 8 and 9 amps. So those higher wattages that we saw earlier, I have not been able to repeat those. Now, as I continue to drive, I have almost an hour of drive time, and it seems like this is where it's now going to live, between 8 and 9 amps. Okay, I did make a stop and I am underway again at about another 10-15 minutes of driving time, and it was actually up higher around that 8 or 9 amps that we did see, but over the last couple minutes it's now dropped to around 5 amps. And this is with the Victron app, but I'll pull up both of them. And so now as we take a look at both, they're both pretty much accurate. And so it seems that we've gone from the 8 or 9 amps and have now gone down to about 5 amps. So this is what I saw years ago when I tried to manipulate or at least do this test, is that 60 to 80 watts is kind of what I would see on an old truck. Okay, so what did you guys think? I thought that was pretty interesting that when we first plugged in the battery to the truck, that we were getting over 200 watts. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive and much better results than when I did this same thing several years ago just for my own knowledge. But as you can see, after we started driving, the wattage or amperage started continuing to drop, so it ended up not being quite as impressive as it was in the beginning. It seemed like 120 watts was kind of where it would live for a while, but after I continued to drive, it continued to drop even more. And so as you can see, there's not a lot of power that's going to the battery after we start driving for a decent amount of time. 60 to 70 watts to the actual battery is not much, especially if you're only driving 2, maybe 3 hours. That could only be about 200 watt hours that you put into this battery. So I guess this kind of answers the question is, does your truck really charge your RV batteries? Well, yeah, it does, but obviously not very well. Now, I've always recommended this, always adding a couple of solar panels to the top of your RV 200 watts is like the minimum. 400 watts is even better, especially if you have a DC refrigerator, because imagine that. If you have a DC refrigerator, well, your batteries are not charging at all while you drive. It's probably consuming all the energy you're putting into it just to keep it cool. So that means you're probably at net zero. So again, 200, 400, maybe even 600 watts on top of your RV can be so beneficial as far as how much power you can pump into your batteries, keeping them well maintained and charged all the time. Even on cloudy days, you're still going to get some power going into them. Now, I hope the information in this video helped you out, and now you have a way to check your truck and your RV to see how much charge you're getting into your batteries. And if you've ever wondered about wheels and tires for your RV, this is a good video I suggest watching right here.